You gonna come speak with us? You know what I'm saying? We got Sweet Papa Chicken going on.
Hey, look at him. Go. He ain't even playing with his. Oh, you messed me up. I thought he was about to fall and shit. Okay.
It's his style.
Okay. All right. Hey.
That's not the recording session.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey. What's up? I'm about to. Oh.
That's right. Y'all come check us out tonight. What's up? What's up? Woo!
What up, folks? Another edition of Hip Hop Dance Stories. Honored to bring our special guest, the coldest, the funkiest one. This dude, I seen a dude so funky since Fluky Luke, Rick James, George Clinton. We have none other than the Sweet Papa Chicken. What up, Cuddy?
Hey, what's happening?
What's happening? What it do, bro?
Right. Mr. Legendary, Mr. V-Love.
What's up, man?
And the
What's up? What's up?
Hip Hop Boogie, Miss Afro.
How are you, Sweet Papa Chicken? That's what I'm talking about.
I'm all right. All right.
Okay.
Oh, boy,
Let me tell you something. Hey, check this out. That footage that they were just playing of you dancing, understand me when I tell you that's my first time seeing it. You better know that you was working. You wasn't even playing. I mean, you did a couple of flips where I thought you were about to just fall, and you messed my head up because you just got right back into the whole, like you wasn't even playing. Like that was dope. The whole sequence and everything. I want to see that again. Are we gonna have that again sometime in the show, Ledge?
Yeah, I can bring it back
to our audience. Yes, because I'm sure we're gonna have some more people coming in a few minutes. I want them to see all of that because that was dope. We gotta you have to have an encore. We have to have an encore.
Hey man, I appreciate all the love, and just to let you know, I always, every time I danced, I always did it out of love. You know, it was just, you know, it's a feeling. You know, it's you know, dance. It's a language. It's how you express yourself, and you know, it's for, you know, when you share with other people, it's all about having a conversation. You know, and you expressing yourself. And it's up to the others, you know, it's up to you if you want to make it understandable. And sometimes you can leave it out there for other people to catch on and try to understand if they can.
Indeed, indeed.
Man,
so I am so grateful to be in the house of legends. And I mean, all three of you guys are just the magnificent legends, you know. I am so honored.
We're gonna get into that, man. We're gonna get into that story, but I just want to take it back to the first time I saw you, and it was like I was unsure because I saw you on Soul Train, and I was like, okay, interesting. And then when I saw you at the club, you had the confidence of a true vet already, but you was kind of like to yourself. And then I was, because you had your tie-dye on, so I was like, is he trying to come in up under the Scheme Team banner or what? And I was like, oh, I got to go see what this dude is about. I got to go check his temperature. But Divine Styler stopped me. He was like, no, that dude is a real one. Check his style. It's not Scheme Team. It's him. So I started watching, and then I was just like, I was a fan ever since. But then later on, in the later years after the heyday, I want to see what you really about. And man, he was doing some funk one day. And I was like, oh, I got to give him a statue. Because you know I got my Mount Rushmore, Afro, Salima, V-Love, and Scoop Lover. Right? But then I was like, I got my statues. You know what I'm saying? Henry got one, Craig got one. I got to give Papa Chicken a statue in front of Funk Jungle. You know what I'm saying? So, V-Love, take it back. I want to hear the beginning of how this cat got started.
Yeah, man. What was the inspiration? I mean, we met you at the spot, at the clubs. You know, I would see you at Unity. That's around the time, right? Was it earlier? Yeah, it was like Unity. A little earlier than that, but Unity.
You know what? Maybe that's when you seen me. Maybe that's when you noticed me. But I noticed you guys like way back in like the late '80s.
Oh no! It was Soul Train too.
Before Soul Train.
Yep.
Let's talk. Let's talk about World on Wheels.
Wow.
World on Wheels.
How old were we then?
Shoot, I was a teenager. I had to be like maybe 15 or 16, you know. But I've been watching you guys ever since I was a teenager, you know. I was the funny story is that the way I asserted myself into the whole dance scene.
Wait, before we even go there, I want to know what started Sweet Papa Chicken when he was a kid. Did it start at an early youth, or did this come in your teens? When did this inspiration come first? And then tell me about the scene. Because I want to hear your version of how you came into the scene.
Peace, Mujahid.
Okay. If you really want to know, I mean, most people, I would say this. As a kid, as far as dancing, it started with me as being a fan of street dance, being a fan of what you call street dancing, watching shows like Soul Train, and that was my first exposure to what our peers, the format that our peers laid down, from the Lockers, the Electric Boogaloos, to all the other popular groups that performed on there. That was my first real glimpse at seeing, dancing in its most, raw form, in its pure form, as besides, classically trained dance. Mm-hmm. And as far as like, for one thing that really stuck in my mind is like, because I loved Michael Jackson. As a kid, I was always a huge Michael Jackson fan. But the thing that really caught my attention before, when you say the backslide, or what they renamed it as far as the moonwalk, well,
yeah.
The backslide I seen first on Soul Train from the Electric Boogaloos and the other dancers, the other poppers that popped on there. By the time Michael Jackson introduced the moonwalk on Motown 25, I already knew what it was. I already knew what that dance was. I said, he's doing what they were doing, So I knew where, a lot of where these dances came from. And so when it carried on from me being a kid, I was always imitating Michael Jackson and I was just a Michael Jackson fanatic. And then when I would say when I would I didn't really get out into the streets that much, as far as like being involved myself in the streets with the dancing yet. I was more of a sheltered kid where I didn't get out into the street because I was, sheltered by, my mom. So, I still saw everything I was able to see, all the movies and everything else. Not until I was in junior high school, because from that time on, from elementary to junior high school, I was just a class clown, and I was just getting caught up in all kind of other crazy stuff. By the time I got into junior high school, the times had changed, especially out here in LA. The climate was, you know, the gangbangers were running the city, and that's
facts.
I grew up over on this Lawson Crenshaw area, so yeah, so that was my that's my stopping ground. I would walk through there, the whole Slauson from Overhill to Crenshaw, all through Slauson. From elementary and junior high and everything. I was on my bike, walking everything. That was my neighborhood. That's where I grew up.
Right.
So are you? I'm gonna put you out there. Are you a rolling 60? Or are you a?
Look at that.
Hey man, don't put
me on here.
Look,
he said, don't put me in that one.
Look, I grew up in that area, but I never banged or anything like that. Now,
were you close? Did you ever get pushed into it? Because we all been through that one where we had to. I had to fight in my neighborhood just because they made me fight. Like even if I didn't get jumped in, them Bloods was always fucking with me.
No, fortunately, I never had that much pressure. However, I didn't start receiving pressure. I started receiving pressure for rival gangs when I went to a continuation school. You see, you remember I told you I was a class clown. It got me into a lot
that
of
was
trouble.
funny when you said that.
Yeah, so
because you used to do that on the dance floor too. So I knew that. I was like, you used to clown on the dance floor. So when you said that, I was like, oh shit, that should match up with him. You know what I mean? That's funny.
Yeah, well, all that personality started in school, but for the wrong reasons, So yeah, I got kicked out, got put into continuation school, and then that's where it got real. I mean, I was then transferred to this continuation school, and then I started to get approached by a rival gang of where I grew up from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they thought they assumed that I was
that you was in 60.
Claiming because of where I grew up.
Yeah, exactly. 60s was deep.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of my friends, that I grew around or even went to school with, they became some. Matter of fact, when you speak of Nipsey Hussle, one of my good friends that went to school with, he became he became associated with Nipsey Hussle and everything. But I went to junior high school with the cat, so and mind you not, during the World on Wheels thing, I'll get into that in a little bit. But what happened was that after I started getting approached and even I got beat up and all this stuff, because they didn't take no for an answer. As far as like when I tell them I wasn't, they didn't care. They I'm on their turf.
Exactly. Fact.
You know what I'm saying? Just because I lived in an area where they were rivals, they didn't care nothing about that. They just I guess they wanted to send a message. So anyway, that was a turning point where I needed to develop a better identity, because you see, back in those days, like the late 80s, you know how hip hop was, how hip hop influenced everybody. Where people were wearing like the sweatsuits and the little chains.
I remember. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't really know the codes of the streets as far as like the colors and everything, and stuff that attracted the gangbangers. Because not only was it in the continuation school, it was also on the street, because
if you walk down the street,
I was.
You couldn't even wear like a blue, like something with just a little blue stripe on it. They could be like, "What's up, blood?" Or,
Yeah, that was,
"What's up, blood?"
it was a radar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you wear a little
that was
bit of
a
red,
radar.
it's over. Like,
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'm so thankful to God that God protected me and kept
that's
me
right.
here. He
Right.
Right.
didn't, you know, because it was so easy for anybody to just get taken out at any time. I mean, it like the gang banging climate was so deep
Right.
back in those late 80s that, you know, it would take anything for the set a radar off, and, you know, at any moment you could just be gone. I mean, they could just catch you sleeping by yourself. You know,
Yep.
a lot of times I was in those situations where I'm just sitting at the bus stop minding my business, and cats are just driving by and they slowing down. Where you from?
Oh, no.
Well, you look like that. You know what I mean? You know, and I'm so lucky that they didn't act on it.
Right.
Did you ever use the thing, "I'm a dancer"? You ever use that one on them?
No, I wasn't dancing back then. I was just,
okay,
you know, going about my bit. I was back when I was a kid. I was into things like anime and Godzilla and stuff like that. And I used to go downtown to Little Tokyo. Yeah.
Oh, fire! Yeah.
I like that
Little
area,
Tokyo. Yes, and I was, you know, buying toys and stuff. I was collecting stuff. I'm buying model kits and I was collecting things. Yeah, so
my daughter's into that deeply.
And I was also, you know, I was also an artist. I was always drawing stuff, and you know, yeah, those are the things I was into. You know, but with the streets, you know, that didn't fly with the streets. You know, when they put a target on you, they don't care. They don't care about, you know, they don't care about who you are. If you look a certain way, or they just want to target you, they'll target you. And so that's, so, you know, and going to the swap meet, you know, that was the thing. I was always going to the swap meet, and my mom was buying me the, you know, the suits, the Nike suits, the Sergio Tacchini's, the Fila suits. I was trying to, you know, have that look, you know, because, you know, of course, you know, being a teenager, you want to attract the girl.
You want to fit in,
you know, you try to get the thing. Yeah, you want to fit in, but that got me into trouble as far as like being targeted. So
that's right. You have to watch what you wear.
Exactly. So at that point, after I got jumped in junior high school, that was a turning point of me saying, you know what, I need to develop a better identity where I won't be targeted by gangs. I need to develop a positive identity. And so one of the things that I always used to enjoy throughout, you know, my early childhood was going to the skating ring. And for whatever reason, I truly believe it was a call from God to put me in a position to where I could let this transition manifest. And that's what happened. For whatever reason, I got the word. I don't know if I found out from something, you know, on the streets, or if I, you know, through word of mouth, that World on Wheels was popping in the late 80s, you know, transitioning into the 90s. You know, the Friday nights where they would dance, you know, take off the skates at about 9:30 or something, and would dance in the middle of the ring. Well, my first experience going there on one of those, you know, those nights, that changed everything for me. I saw you know, cats like Midnight, Popcorn, and the Mid City Dancers.
They would dance in the middle, huh? In the middle part, they would dance, or which parts?
Well, before they danced in the middle,
there wasn't a middle, huh?
Before they danced in the middle, they were boogieing on skates.
Right.
Yeah.
They were boogieing on skates. They were doing everything, the RoboCop and tick and RoboCop and everything on skates, and they were killing it. And then once at 9:30, and when 9:30 come around, everybody take off the skates and go to the middle in the center ring. That's when they really get busy. I'm talking about, you know, showing out and having, battles and everything. They were going off. And
Yeah.
see, during that
What year was
period,
that? What year was that? And what year was that? Break me down, because I'm trying, because it was different when I first used to go. Because it didn't used to have dancing at first. It was just skating. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it got to an era where I know a lot of people from Soul Train and stuff started hanging out up there, and it was different eras. But give me the time era that was.
That had to be from, I would say, 87, 86. No, I'm sorry, not 86. 87 in the 88. 87, 88, 89. During that 3-year period, period. Now, one thing that I noticed when we talk about this hip hop boogie, hip hop dance stories, what was so pivotal at that time is that I came into a transition of where things were changing within the dance scene, where from of course from the 70s and 80s, pop and locking continued to prevail. It was always the prominent thing in the 80s, but transitioning from 80, I would say 87, 88, that's where when I entered into the arena, it was transitioning from straight popping and locking and b-boying into trendy dances, all of the trendy dances that were around, the preppy dances and stuff like that. The style was changing.
Did you ever hit Ultra Wave?
No, I never knew about it. Unfortunately,
it was more of a. I don't know why it didn't get over that area. It was more of a West Side Los Angeles thing. So I it caught on later on, but that's when Jam City came. So Jam City came after Ultra Wave. But okay, go back to what you were saying.
But with my experience of what I experienced, I didn't. This is my opening to everything.
Right.
From what I saw was there was sort of a clash between the cats, the OGs from the popping and locking, and the new cat and all the new cats that was changing. The transition was changing. But what I love is that Midnight in the mid city dancers, they kept it sort of fused together still, where they were able to do all the new trendy preppy dances, but still incorporate the traditional traditional popping and everything that was in it. So that's what I think turned it up another level, because you would have this side where they were just doing straight up trendy new wave dances, but and then on the other side you have them clashing with the with the OGs. But once it kind of fused together, that's when you really saw some amazing stuff, when they were fusing that stuff together.
Right.
Before it crossed over and went completely into from preppy into like hip hop.
Right.
You still had
that was like a transition that only people in LA knew about. It was kind of that trendy era. Was like when Stretch talked about it, he'd be like, "Man, I came to LA and they were dancing all fast, wearing these tight suits." Remember Legend?
That was a transition, because I mean, from what?
Yeah, it was. It was a big transition.
I never been to Ultra Wave and any the Red Onion. I used to hear about the Red Onion, but I just went to World on
You never hit Jam City?
No.
See, that's why. Okay, but then after that,
I was still green getting into the scene. I didn't know nothing. I'm coming from background of watching stuff on watching everything on Soul Train.
Right.
And but the thing about it, when I finally immersed myself into the scene, now mind you, it took a little while. It took like maybe a couple of weeks up to a month for me to get the courage to finally take my skates off and get actually into the mix, because I was still, you know, learning and seeing what was going on skates, and everybody, you know, like I said, Midnight was holding it down. Midnight and Popcorn and the Mid-City Dancers were holding it down. So, you know, I had to just watch and kind of see where things were happening. You know, they were doing the Troop and RoboCop doing everything on the skates.
Right.
And then after a while, I said, well, I could do this too, and I started doing it on skates. And then pretty much I said, you know, I'm just going to get into this. I'm just going to immerse myself. Now here's the thing. I still wasn't safe from that gangs, you know, that sort of gang-like environment, you know, being targeted. So, but I felt more at peace that it was a safer environment where, you know, whereas if I really insert myself into this dance scene, then people would view me or perceive me as, you know, well, he's a dancer.
What you labeling yourself as?
Right.
Fact.
And that kind of pulled me away from constantly being perceived as somebody's rival gang or something like that.
Right. You know, I understand you 100%. I went through the same thing, brother. So, you know, the more that I went into the dance scene, it even got to a point where they were like, they would do that with me. They'd be like, oh, man, where you from? And I'd be like, yo, man, I just dance. Oh, you one of them punk ass dancers? They still want to fight you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes it depends.
How you think you could dance better than me?
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we pulled all the ladies. You know what I mean? So that used to get cats upset. You know what I mean? So
that's what they like. You pulling attention away from them. Yeah.
Yeah. That ended up a problem too. But Jay, you said going to World on Wheels was damn near like playing a game of Russian roulette every time you went there. You know what I'm saying? I was reading this thing.
Wow.
Right. Well, I mean, it was because you still had the dominance of gang culture within, you know, I mean, because the gangs were still running LA. Okay. That was the most dominant in anywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was still a safe haven for me because that was the only place during that time where I can utilize that place to really create an identity for myself in a positive identity. I love dance, and I said, well, I used to do Michael Jackson. I used to emulate what I see on TV. Why don't I just do what I already love? So it wasn't something that I forced myself to say, well, I got to do this. Dancing was something that I already loved. I mean, I remember, you know, my mom just taking me to different parties of her friends, and I danced by myself, you know, if nobody else was dancing. I just always, you know, dancing was just always a part of me. It was like another way to communicate. If you know, because I was always a shy person. I had a hard time talking and meeting new people and talking with them. So, because I've always been like an oddball, you know, like that odd one in the group or whatever. So, so dancing to me was a communication in order to express myself as well.
Right.
And so all the pieces of the puzzle started coming together once I inserted myself into the scene at World on Wheels. And once I actually got into it, I said, man, this is something that not only is it something that's, you know, creates a safer identity for me, but shoot, this is what's happening now. This is the thing, because like going from the late 80s, I say 87, 88, 89, in the 90s, that was basically a lifestyle. It was a true lifestyle. It became like, I don't know, in other states, maybe in New York. I know certainly, you know, in New York, there, you know, it became a lifestyle. But in LA, just in LA, it became a lifestyle where everybody started. I just seen it myself, where everybody, just the average person on the street, has some association with dancing, because that was just and I believe. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I believe with the LA culture, and just speaking on LA culture and what I experienced, it was something that was creating a positive transition from the gang, culture. People, not everybody wanted to.
Yep.
Not everybody wanted to be emerged into the gang culture. I mean, I have nothing against gang culture. I mean, they serve their purpose for protecting the hoods, protecting their neighborhoods and everything like that.
Right.
But that wasn't me, and I didn't want to constantly be, put in those scenarios. But I seen that overall, a lot of people, just friends that I knew, were transitioning into the dance scene one way or another. Either they were becoming dancers or they became fans of the scene and being in that dance scene, the dance culture. So from that transition, I said my next transition from that was going to Hollywood Live. Now at that time, I had to be maybe about, I would say 16 to 17, and I was working at Wendy's. And here's God sending another pathway for the next transition, where one day after work, I'm looking on the ground, sweeping the ground, and I see this flyer for Hollywood Live.
Wow.
And it said College Sunday.
I remember that, College Sundays.
College Sunday. Man, let me tell you right now, my first night there, I mean, I swear it was like a hip hop haven. I mean, you seen and
everybody, Big Daddy Kane, everybody came there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was so cool about that time, because like you remember, like LA was LA and the rest of, I guess, America, you could say, was transitioning into this whole promotion of college and hip hop. Those two things were really
were hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah, they were bridging together. The promotion of college and hip hop. Hip hop was the vehicle to bring everybody into awareness.
Right.
Hip hop was awareness, like got your attention.
Yeah.
And then college was like the thing, like college was the thing that would bridge everybody together.
Yeah. College would bring in all the young people into hip hop. It was like the up and coming. I know you guys remember that, Fro, when you guys would go on tours, you would hit the colleges a lot.
Oh yeah, that college circuit is everything. That, especially in the 90s. That's all the thing were. I mean, it's for real. I mean, even till this day. I mean, you think about it, spring break. Yeah.
Y'all would have the
something.
What would we have that was nothing close to that? The Freaknik. That was y'all thing.
Oh my God! See, first of all, I didn't know nothing about it when I got thrown into it, so that wasn't even funny to me. Like, that traffic was whack. It was like that would just like, wait a minute. Like, it was just a lot going on, but it did bring a lot of like shows. A lot of dancers was here from all over. Like, Freaknik, boy.
We didn't have the Freaknik out here. I think the first. What was the closest we had, y'all?
We had African Marketplace and
okay, I didn't even say that. African Marketplace
and the Black Family Reunion. That's what.
Black Family Reunion. And then what was that? Ditch Day. Remember Ditch Day? And,
when was that though? What year? Like, when was this?
This is
I would
like,
say,
man,
89, 90.
89, 90. I think the African Marketplace went on to maybe 2005 or something, 2006.
Yeah.
It kept going on every year, and it would be every weekend for the whole summer.
Oh yeah, the whole summer. Yeah,
the African Marketplace was our spot. Everybody used to come up there. All the hip hop heads would show up there. All the conscious people, all the people from around. If you came into California, to Los Angeles. It was at Dorsey High School, which was like in the middle of Los Angeles almost. So
and you walking on top of hay.
Yeah. Well, they had it on top of hay. So if you had hay fever, you had a problem up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I used to love it. Now we have like Leimert Park has become the small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it became the small version of that. So
yeah, that's what Lamar Park is emerging. I'm gonna have to get myself there. You know, I have to definitely get myself.
yeah, I'm
there.
going today.
I know. I heard this going off.
Wait,
So,
what'd you say, Ed?
Kind of quiet this whole show. Let me hear some questions.
I mean, I'm listening to what's going on. I mean, his story is just so interesting. And you know, when you guys talk about LA, it's some things that I know about, but there's some other things that I don't know. And I'm just interested. I'm sitting back here like,
well, now he's into the hip hop era. So I would like for you to take over. And I was just about to tell you that. Start asking him what his transition into hip hop.
One thing I do want to say about the transition is that it went from like the styles of the look. I saw the transition too, where you saw it's the full out Derrick curls to Jerry curl fades to the high tops to the gumbies. I mean, I saw a whole lot of transition, even the styles of dress. You saw the what was the traditional white dress shirt and black slacks, and pop into you saw like suits with safety pins and taper khakis. You saw they wanted to it was either taper khakis or clothes that will emphasize the socks. People wanted to see the white socks. So that was transition. Then you went from that to hip hop, where people wearing like the Nike boots and the Nike boots or Reebok boots, the plaid pants, the cardigans, the Soul Brothers. You saw how the Soul Brothers were dressing. They had the preppy sweaters, and they brought on the style. And I used to go to the Gap a lot, and you remember the Gap, man? They had them sales. They were like,
they had everything. What about Benetton? Benetton was in too. Did y'all rock Benetton out there?
Oh,
no, y'all didn't.
Budget.
I guess not. What?
In LA, we were on the budget. We had to get what we can get.
We were on the budget too.
We were very creative. We would put things together, things that we would put clothes together to rock the look.
Right.
We didn't have that, And what was so dope about that time?
I want some middle time.
What was so dope about that transition too was that when you speak of Hollywood Live, half of the dancers, half of the club was coming in on the bus.
Okay.
A lot of the dopest dancers, dance crews, were coming on the bus in the RTD.
Right.
Sometimes we would barely make it to the club. I think it was that bus, was it the 212 that would go from go up through it come from Inglewood, then it'll go through Slauson and Overhill, and then go across Stocker, and it go all the way to La Brea, all the way into Hollywood. So
wait, is this nonstop or this is stops that you guys are on? These are all like particular stops, just like an express bus that went, or?
Well, I got picked up on Slauson and Overhill. That's the bus. That's the stop where I used to go to.
Okay.
But the 212 was 212 RTD. That the RTD back in, that was my passport into Hollywood. So, but in everybody else's, because like I said, a lot of time we would barely make it because everybody was so hype on the buses that people would get rowdy and they start beating on the seats, and everybody would chime in, and the bus would be rocking back and forth. I mean, that's how hype it was. You remember that song from 45 King? Ed Lover used to use it like. Yeah. People will beat.
That's called the 1-800 number.
Boom.
Yeah. People were beating on the seats and stuff, and everybody else would do the harmony and beating on the seats. Bus driver get pissed off every time and pull the bus over and start. And they were always calling the police. And a lot of the what was so sad is that a lot of the same dancers some of them were taggers. So the police knew some of these officers knew some of these, the cats that were, taggers. And so when the bus get rowdy, the bus driver pull it over, the police get on and start pulling some people off. And then the bus drivers, a lot of times they were threatening to say, "Oh, if you keep this up, we're not gonna go anywhere." That was what was so hype about those days. Like, you were so hype that you were willing to compromise your way to get to the place just by having fun, by being caught up in the hype. I remember dancers hanging out at the Fox Hills Mall all day long, just hanging out, and some of them would dance, and then they would all get on the bus, go to the club that night. But when you once you're in the club and you getting busy and sweaty, I know that Legends, told you, Joe, some stories about me sweating and everything. But anyhow, everybody was on the code, on the time limit, that you had to be out of the club by at least 2 o'clock or so, or you weren't getting home. So
right. I get it.
If you saw half the club getting empty because everybody's getting out there to get on that bus.
Yeah. Wow. So on the way to the club, you guys are getting hyped and everything, just ready. And so as soon as y'all get in the club, y'all are already to the point where y'all just want to get busy. Y'all are already there. You don't have to feel the vibe. The vibe is already felt.
Yeah, we bring the party. We were bringing the party up in there. And what was so awesome about Hollywood Live? What was so awesome about Hollywood Live is that you had droves of dance crews and individuals, dancers, just filling the whole place. If people were standing against the wall, they were just watching. But mostly everybody that was active on the floor was boogie. And I'm not talking. I mean, you have your little sections here and there with couples with dance, guys and girls are dancing, but majority of the club, that place was so big. Hollywood Live. It's the El Capitan Theater now, where the next to the El Capitan Theater where the Jimmy Kimmel Live show.
That's what he does.
With the building. That was Hollywood Live.
Yeah. Afro went there. We had her go there and battle, didn't we?
That was so much fun.
You had to go up the steps to go in, and then once you get in, you go through the little Afro.
Me and Legend used to go there all the time. That was our spot.
Yeah, so you go up the steps and get in, pay a little admission, or you had clout, you just go right through, and then you go downstairs, and then when it was like a row of glass doors and open up to the dance floor, and huge, gigantic wooden floor. This, and the stage and everything.
Right.
I remember that with Hollywood Live, you were also on special nights. Do you remember these club promotions, Seven Oasis and Diamond Productions?
Do y'all?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, those cats are basically running 18 and over circuit in LA back in those days, 89 and all of the early 90s. Anyway, they had this special night on Thursday night. It was called 99-cent Thursdays at Hollywood Live.
Oh wow!
99-cent Thursday. Not only would you get your boogie on, but they were bringing in acts like Queen Latifah, Digital Underground, Two Live Crew.
Yep.
Wow,
all the top.
They would have concerts there. Yeah.
Wow. I saw all that went. We saw X Clan for 99 cents.
For 99 cents.
When they first emerged, X Clan. I mean, man, those times are unforgettable.
Right.
But when you go on the 99 cent on Thursday, the lines will be like blocks long, full of dancers, full of cats in original. I mean, and it looked like Halloween because cats were coming in like costumes and all kind of crazy, like their own original costumes they would make themselves. Crews.
Wow.
That's how deep it was. That's how deep it was in LA. The dance culture was deep. in those days.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely, at least back when I went out there like in 90, what was that, 90? The first time with you guys, what was that, 90?
Yeah, it was like 90, 91.
Listen, it was so many dances at Hollywood Live that night, but we went in and we left. It was like short-lived where we couldn't really, at least I don't remember being there for a long time, but what I do remember is years after that, just being out there and seeing the dance life. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's dope out there. It's so dope out there. It's so many creatives, you know. It's and then just hearing like some of your stories about how you guys would get hyped to go to the club. It's so familiar to me on my end, the Bronx and Manhattan and Queens. Like there's so many dancers that took the train, took the bus to go to the building. They're getting all hyped and they're coming up out the train station ready to just go ahead and get busy.
Man, I wish I could experience. I used to see glimpses of that, you know, here and there, like, you know, some videos I watched. I wish I could have been part of that. I mean, I know that had to be just incredible.
Man, as well. I'm going to tell you what video gets me totally hyped, and it just brings back so many dope memories. And it's that Method Man video where he's in the bus, like he's in the bus, he's with all his boys, and they're all so many memories, because I'm like, yo, I was doing that. I know exactly, that shit is dope. But other people like, why are they? No, you have to really.
You have to be in New York to know that how that went.
Or not even just New York, because LA has it too. You know what I'm saying? Like you just have it in your own way. But listen, you feel it when you got that feeling and you vibing, you ready to get busy. It's going down. So taking me back for that one, Papa Chicken, because I definitely, you had me thinking about. I remember going to the building and seeing Fedro Star, and now I'm seeing, Tribe Called Quest, and then you said 99 cents. To go
99-cent Thursday.
Paying for tickets nowadays. Y'all know that, like,
and what was so crazy?
Ridiculous to go to
concert. Well, you know what it was promotions for the groups.
Yeah,
that's so dope. Still, look how dope that was.
You had two co-promotions working together, and see, that's what I loved about those times too. When you think of, there was so much unity between. There was like a true cause where even separate promotions will work together to just bring about this cause. You know, there's 7 Oasis, I believe they were with 7 Oasis and Diamond Productions. They were also heavily involved with the colleges like UCLA, USC, and I even believe out there at Northridge. You know, they were heavily involved. Some of the promos were college students. But
I believe it.
But they were all intertwined under, you know, in hip hop. That's what was so dope about it.
Right.
And they all came together to promote just like hip hop in college and everything. That's what was so dope about it. But yeah, we definitely had great experiences. You know, you got to just be thankful for like the experience you get to, you know, be involved in.
Absolutely. So what are you doing now?
Well, I'm just, you know, I work for the school district, LA Unified, and I have children. I take care of my children and stuff.
Okay.
I still have a great love for dancing. Years have passed, but my heart's still in it. Even though you get older and everything, I'm not going to let my age and my situation define me. I still have love for dancing, and I still want to, you know, place myself back, you know, in the boogie scene and stuff.
Never quit. That's right. Never quit. Never quit. It's so good for the soul.
If you notice, like I told you, you became my favorite where I gave you a statue after your heyday. It was that day that I came up to Asia One, the last good one she had, when I came up there with Gary Gray. When I first got my camera.
Okay, B-Boy Summit, I think.
Yeah. It was like downtown. So that day, doing something real funky that day. And they're just like, because I was there on something else. I was there as Arthur on some film shit. So I was dancing, but I was just there to get footage. So I really wasn't there as Soul Brother Legend.
Right.
But when I saw you took me back to Story of the Legend so quick. I was like, wait a minute, this dude is killing it right now. And it was like, this dude was like, man, he's one of my all-time greats. From that moment on, like I said, I love young competition, but that, like if I saw you that day on some straight funk shit, that did it, Cuddy.
So you showed a video earlier, Ledge. Like that video was just like the bomb to me. Can we at least show the audience the video once again? Because I know some people weren't on when you were playing. This is our intro, guys. It was so dope.
Unlike some, like a lot of your other guests, I'm not the superstar that everybody's familiar with. You know, I'm more of like the unsung people. Like I'm so thankful that I've had the privilege to dance among some of the greatest, dancers to ever do it. You know, I've been there and danced among them and stuff. But and I think, I'm not jealous that I never had an opportunity to dance for artists or, go on tour, nothing like that. I think God places you where you best fit, So
Absolutely.
I think that I'm very thankful that I've, been a part of the experience, and that I'm even more thankful that you people that I admire and that inspire me embrace me.
Well,
that's right.
Because you guys are living legends. You guys are living legends.
That was my next question. When I first told you that I gave you the statue,
nice of you to say.
It's like I know you're humble, but it's like it was like you almost didn't want your statue, like you didn't want your flowers. I was trying to give you your flowers while you couldn't smell them.
You deserve them.
And your trees while you couldn't hell them. So
that's right. You deserve them.
Flowers, Cuddy, accept your trophy because you're definitely right there with us, Cuddy.
That's right. That's right. You definitely. I'm sure that you were an inspiration to many. I'm sure that people were in the club checking you out, and they went home and they saw those moves that you were doing. Yeah.
You know what?
I'm gonna get ready to see him. I'm gonna see what we're talking about because he was doing his thing in his video. I was like, wait a minute, he came on to it. Like, hold on, everybody else got to see that too. So we got to make sure we play that again.
And the way he's doing it, like I said, without the rapper to dance for in the 90s, without certain outlets that we had, magazines,
absolutely.
So to have your name ringing.
Yeah.
Well, I think for me, it's all, like I said earlier, it's all about the love. I love dance. It's not something that I use as a platform to get somewhere else. I just love dance, period. That's a passion for me. And when you engage in something that you're compassionate about, you can never go wrong. I mean, no matter what, plans or whatever things you have, it's like, well, I might have opportunities. There's some opportunities I might have, gone and, I know if I tried to audition and stuff, but I remember certain auditions I go to, and some of the cats that was holding auditions would be the same cat that I probably battled in the club, the night before, did blacklisted me. So there was a lot of different things going on, a lot of politics and everything. But now that I look back, I think that, I shouldn't be mad at, lost opportunity or things, this and that. I should be thankful for my experiences and that. Like I said, God places you where He wants to put you. It's not, if it's not for you, it's not for you. God has another path for you.
That's right. So, what's meant for you is already yours.
Right. So when as far as with dancing, I can just do it on my own time, and that's one of the things I'm thankful for, is that unlike other people who are in demand, I can dance when I want to. I'm on my own schedule of dance, where it's like where when you're performing or when you become a performer for an artist or something, you kind of have to work within their schedules. It's a job, but it's like like I say, to each his own. You know, whichever path God gives you, you know, embrace it and go as far as you can with it.
Yes,
you know, but I'm thankful that you guys were there to lay the path. You know, the path for me to be inspired. You know, I you know, it gave me an outlet for freedom.
Your style is so original. Your style reminds me of a jazz band, and it's like
it's very smooth and
everything is moving on you except for your facial expression. Like everybody,
right.
You know, your face never changed, but everything else is moving. I'm like, this dude got your own style, Papa Chicken, for real. That's you.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it, I have changed. My styles have transitioned from different, you know, types of you know, refinements or stuff that I get inspired by. You know, that's I kind of what should I say, incorporate myself within things that I see. You know, I wouldn't say it's so much biting, but I tried to like put my own mix on something and either, you know, put my own mix to you know what I'm inspired by or develop something else from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's the one of the keys to creativity is that, you know, you can either you get inspired by something and then you take it and you make, you know, you add a little something different to it or make it into something else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you know, dance grows.
Absolutely.
You know, but boy, I remember the Soul Brothers. They were basically the kings of those eras in you know, the 90s. The Hollywood Live, the Funk Jungle, the Paradise 24. They were truly running in LA. I mean, I would look at, I saw the generations coming up after the Soul Brothers, and they wanted to emulate. You know, the Soul Brothers laid down the foundation for the generation after, where they were coming in and they were looking like the Soul Brothers, they were dancing like the Soul Brothers, and then very soon they started transitioning, becoming their own thing. So the Soul Brothers, you know, definitely for the hip hop era that I came up in, they were the foundation that transitioned for everybody else to grow into other things. And then you also had crews like the Scheme Team. You had Dynamite Soul, the Hip Hop Hippies, Daylight Crowd. I mean, you had so many systems. All those cats were influencing the whole youth to come up and develop and become their own crews.
Right.
So,
facts.
It was a beautiful era and transition. And then I just saw, and then I saw when I just saw different transitions. Now, keep in mind, I want to go back a little because I just want to relate to you some fun facts. You know, Don Camelot, rest in peace, Don Camelot.
Mm-hmm.
I went to high school with his son, and I didn't even know that he was his son. I never knew that, you know, Dennis, you know, was his son, but we went to Westchester together.
That's crazy.
I know that you're familiar with A.M.P.M.
Yeah.
A.M.P.M. Yeah, okay. Craig and David.
I just talked to A.M.
Yes. We all went to Westchester together, and I would say this, well, Craig, at least, he wasn't a very big fan of me. So we were kind of rivals, you know, back then.
Who, A.M.?
Yeah. I think that was his nature. He was just very competitive, you know. He was all, you know, he was always,
very. That's just him, period.
Look.
Well, are you older than them? Aren't you older than them?
We might be the same age.
Same age?
Yeah, I'm 47.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring AM and PM on here. We choreographed them once in our career when they danced for Laquan.
Yeah, Laquan. And then you know who else also? Because you mentioned her a lot. You know, MC. You remember MC Trouble? Rest in peace, MC Trouble.
Yes.
Her dancer, Nikki.
Yeah, that's
Nikki.
Sister.
You remember Nikki?
Yeah, little Nikki.
Nikki,
she went to Westchester. Yeah.
Yeah, I had class.
That was with us that night. That's the one who was with us that night. It was
Little Nicky, yeah.
With us. It was Nefertiti, Little Nicky.
Yep, and Nefertiti used to hang with Nicky.
Boom. There you go.
Time.
It was a girl. It was a young girl who was with us. And she was, yes.
Yeah. Nicky.
That's crazy when you bring up Nicky. I haven't seen Nicky in so long. Little short Nicky, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a little homie. But she went to Westchester too, right?
Yeah, I had classes with her.
That's what when it came to the ultra wave scene and all that stuff, a lot of the dancers came up out of Westchester. It was either Westchester or Fairfax. And then we at LA High and Hamilton, we was like, that was me and Legend School. Our schools. Legend went to Hamilton.
You want to hear something funny?
Legend,
I don't know if you remember Legend.
I think Legend stuck.
Okay,
I got
you. He stuck on that.
This
goes.
He stays stuck on that pose, boy.
What happened?
Vila. Yeah, the Soul Brothers used to come up to Westchester.
Oh yeah.
At the Sunday. Listen. The noon dances. The noon dances were at lunchtime it was only 30 minutes. Lunchtime.
I think I came with Craig.
Man, let me tell you something.
Yeah, Keith, his brother used to DJ y'all dances.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Keith. Yeah.
And the other I think
that was so long ago.
The Seven Oasis crew. They used to DJ, Anyhow,
yeah,
man,
it was either Keith or them.
One thing I remember.
Generally,
when Soul Brothers came in and with this boogieing at their lunch dance, I remember you doing your thing on the transition, and you jump way up and high and landing up pow on the pancake, and everybody went woo! Y'all had the crowd going. Soul Brothers, but that was you guys came up to my school killing it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
wow. That's dope.
We had a ball.
That's what I'm saying. That's how deep
we used to have a ball doing that. Yeah, we used to go to all the high schools.
I remember the night you got in the big boy. And I remember the night he got in the big boy circle, because I tell you, he used to kind of dance standoffish. And then one night he got in the circle with us in the scheme team. And I was like, okay, so was that the moment that you knew you arrived, Papa Chicken? Like Papa Chicken arrived that day?
He got up in the circle.
I was still green. I was testing the waters. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, man, in those early 90s, you guys were holding it down, and it was rough.
No, but I'm gonna tell you,
anybody could not get in those circles.
Can I say something?
Okay.
Yeah, Papa Chicken, that's one thing I got to give to you, Brody. I don't care how heated we would be that night. We would be on fire, right? And right after we finish, here come Papa Chicken. Boom, boom, hitting all this shit in there. I'll be like, because he would just carry on you would carry on that fire, we'd be like, okay, we finished, we all burnt out, sweating. Right. And here come Papa Chicken. Wow, he carried that shit on for the rest of the night. He would not stop dancing. I would leave,
why?
Come back, and you know why?
You know why? Because I'm getting hyped off of y'all. I'm getting hyped off of y'all.
Yeah, I know.
We feed.
I used to love it, Brody.
We feed.
You were very much off. To me, you were there's people that were off limits. When it came to having an attitude with or saying, oh, we bet, who's this? You were one that I never had a problem with. I just, you never had no attitude. You weren't on no pedestal type shit. You would come out, you would knock shit out, and you just did what you were supposed to do. If you're gonna be a dancer and be up in them circles, it's there's the niggas that's on the side, but then there's the niggas that's in there actually doing it.
Boom,
and you were one of them, Brody. So I had.
Well, you know what? I'm
legendary.
I want to tell you something with that type of mentality I had. I didn't want to be the one talking, because that would open up trouble for me. You know what I mean? You don't know what people are thinking. I would just wouldn't say nothing. Like I said, I was a shy person, and dance was my language. That's how I would communicate. That's how you have
that's where you're supposed to speak.
You can have a conversation with other people, with the people that you're surrounded with, just with your dance. You don't have to be just talking in the ear or, trying to say something about yourself.
Right.
That's how, believe it or not, that's how I would, find a date or what have you, or get somebody's attention just for dancing. It wasn't just, what I'm, talking about or dressing or trying to be some. It was out, what you see is what you get, and my best communication was dancing. That's how I utilize that to communicate with people.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Papa.
So
let's keep it 100. Not only did you have to get through the Soul Brothers in the big boy circle, you had to get through the psychological warfare of Chameleon. You got a black man with a blonde afro on acid in your face. Talk about what the fuck you do in the circle. So you had to get through that.
Chameleon.
Yeah. So
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, man. Chameleon to me, man, it was like, I mean, if people had an ego, yeah, I guess you would be, kind of frightened or scared, because it's like, how do I get around that, or like how do I counteract with that? Me, I saw it as even more motivation. I always loved the crazier the better. That that's what I loved about another aspect about the dance and hip hop. It brought out people's most creative element. That was and I always loved, like, the more creative, the more crazy, the more outlandish that you can that you can present yourself. That just gave me an even better impression, and that just inspired me to be even crazier, to do, to be as weird as I can be.
Right.
That was food for me, seeing something like Chameleon and Kalani and Dags and all them, just being as bizarre as they can be.
Right.
And of course it rubbed off on the other crews, the other dance crews. They were inspired by you guys, and you guys inspired them to develop their own personal identities. That's what it was all about.
Polo said,
Polo?
Yeah, he said Papa Chicken would flatten rubber trash cans.
Is that true?
Yeah. That's
and Polo is Black Eyed Peas manager.
And Polo, that's what I'm talking about. Good job.
And Polo used to boogie too. And Polo used to boogie too.
Yeah, Polo used to boogie with us too.
All the Black Eyed Peas,
used to boogie with us. Yep.
Big time.
Man, I wish I would have been out there.
That's how those circles was.
And,
I mean, it's just like,
and had their own style. They had their own style.
Fact.
Yeah, I love it.
So their dance style transitioned into their music.
Right.
That's why their music was so unique. Because it came
That's
from
why
their
music
energy.
always had something to do with dancing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was always in the dance clubs or something like that, because they wanted to bring that extension of the dance of what was going on in Los Angeles to what was that to the world, like, and they did a good job with that. Bless up.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this. Nobody else was no other crews, anybody was dancing exactly like Black Eyed Peas. They truly had their own unique style. It was like, they had people maybe following or something like that, but they had their own style. And then you had a lot of crews. You had the SWAT team, the Majestics, all those cats, came after, the Soul Brother era, and they developed into their own unique style.
I could say this.
Well, Will was going to join the Soul Brother.
Very recognizable. I'm sorry, V.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. With the Black Eyed Peas, their style of dancing, I mean, I remember watching their video, one of their very first videos, and watching them dance. I was like, hold on. Wait. I can do that. Who are they? Wait a minute. who is it? Like, I wanted to know about the group because they just seemed like they were just so familiar. And then when I found out that they were from the West Coast, it was like, wait a minute, like, yo, they're dancing like the dudes back home, like what I've seen, like, you know, and what I've seen, you know, here. And I had no idea the connection with the Soul Brothers at the time, but I just knew that they blew me away. You know what I mean? But yet,
about that, bro, when people was telling me about them and the similarities, I didn't see that. I saw straight love and homage from day one. Like my guys, Youthful Soul, I was proud.
No, yeah, they're dope. They're dope.
Like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't see like really like, oh, they got Soul Brothers. I saw, man, nothing but love.
Right.
I was like, they got their own shit popping. They was fly.
Yeah. So and what's great, and like I said, with Polo,
I love Taboo the most because he's closer to my style.
Right. Yeah, like I said, but Polo, he was Boogie. He was a Boogie cat himself, you know. And it's beautiful how they all like embraced and took each other to the top. You know, it wasn't like, well, if one person gets, you know, big or gets a deal, they leave the rest behind. They all brought each other up together, and I'm so proud of them all. You know, that's amazing. Man, I'm gonna tell you like this, Cuddy. When I came out of retirement from Coach Legend back into the game, first place I went to was freestyle session. Man, boy, Polo laid it out for me, Cuddy. I was by myself. I was solo. Laid it out, red carpet treatment, made sure I had everything, you know what I'm saying? And I had never seen that many B-boys in one spot in my life. It was amazing. It was like backpacks everywhere. It was at the Hollywood Parade. And that's what spawned me to start doing Sons of James Brown. After that, but yeah, he laid it out like real player style. I felt like a true veteran. Right. You know what I'm saying? All the youngsters were showing love, and I was just like, oh, okay, I'm back. Well, the interesting fact about that, the whole freestyle session thing is that, you know, when we went from, when we went from the transition of, you know, going to, you know, the hip hop, like the Hollywood Live and everything, then you had the, the influence of the mop tops from the East Coast. The mop tops influence came in, right? It's like the transition of the dancing kind of changed too, whereas, you know, back in the Soul Brothers, the Scheme Team and all that, it was high pace, high energy, up tempo dancing, right? But then that in itself transitioned over into a more refined, clean style, which was being influenced by the mop tops. You know, the whole elite, you know, forces, Stretch and them, Stretch and Buddha, and, you know, Buddha, Stretch and Link and all them. I remember, matter of fact, I remember one time. This is a hilarious incident. It was a club called Beverly Hills Live that was on La Cienega. Anyway, I was in there, and my and of course, I don't know. This is after I graduated high school. Here come I see what's called A.M.P.M. They came in and they were still trying to test the waters with me. They were still trying to be competitive. And you know, I'm there by myself. I'm there by myself, you know, boogie and doing my own thing. And here they come. They, you know, trying to, you know, get at me and stuff. And then later on, my homies, Manslaughter and Rooster.
What?
You know, those are my. You remember Manslaughter and Rooster? You said,
He said what?
Yeah, that's how we met. And I used to see them at clubs everywhere, but you know, we didn't talk. But that night when they saw A.M.P.M. coming at me, they came in, man, it was a wrap. They were just spinning and coiling and doing all this stuff, you know, just killing it. And A.M.P.M. was like, I'm out of here, right? But that same night was my first glimpse of seeing Link and Stretch together, and they weren't dressed how their usual attire is. Like, you know, you see them in like sweatsuits, or you know how they, you know, they get up. They were just straight. I don't know if they had did a video shoot for something that day, but they were there at night and they had on like white dress shirts and slacks and dress shoes. But man, were they getting busy? I'm talking about they were doing a thing together where they like it was a pole it was a pole in the middle of the club or something, one of the pillars, and they would do. You remember that tick routine they used to have together with like, you know, and they point at each other and do all this. Yeah, they'll just clean with it, and you hear them stopping their feet. You can hear the dress suit clapping the floor and everything, but they were clean with it. And I saw the transition. I said, we're all wild and, you know, bugged out and everything. They were clean.
Right.
And then what I saw as time carried on is it transitioned from their influence of being clean and refined. You can still be, you know, rugged with it, but you gotta be on beat and be clean with it.
Right, right, absolutely.
And so I think that tradition is carried on even still for today. That's like one of the what shall I say, that, you know, as far as like, you know, in the hip hop dance category, you know what I mean? That's like one of their style, like really had a huge influence on everybody else's style, you know, transition style and everything. Of course, more people add more things into it, but then right after that transition, I would say from, I mean, and at the same, it's not even after, at the same time, the b-boying and all the of our, you know, the peers, all the pop and the lock and the b-boy, that was coming right back in 90. I would say 93, 94. I know it never left in some areas like, you know, New York and, you know, London and everywhere else, but in LA, slowly but surely the b-boy scene was coming back strong in, you know, in the 90s. And so there was a lot of transitions, and then I even got, you know, involved in the b-boy scene where I wasn't a b-boy, but I loved it. I can do certain moves and stuff, but I still, you know, influence, you know, I put my own mix into it. It's like I try to incorporate a little bit of both, you know. So, you know, but in the b-boy, in the b-boy scene in old school has pretty much taken over now, where it's like at the highest pinnacle, and hip hop is there too. You know, you have you know, you have the crew, you know, you have the cats that are still, you know, transitioning. And then they added more things. You had the crump that came in, you had the flexing, the bone breaking, you had the juking. All this stuff is all circulating now. It's a beautiful thing.
Right.
It's a huge it's a huge vocabulary of dancing that's going on now.
Yeah, man, it was good for you to come on, man. Bless us with your history, Scott, from the beginning to the end.
Yes, you did.
I don't think there's no end. We still going. Our heart's still beating.
Oh yeah,
still
go all the way.
Yo,
you know.
Papa Chicken, can you still hit that suicide?
Oh my God! You gotta show this video. Y'all think I'm playing? He was not even. Y'all know.
Can you still hit the suicide on him?
The suicide's a hit or miss. Either I hurt myself or I don't, you know. But the way I clean it up is popping. I
think you clear out the dance floor with that shit. Like.
Not even playing.
Yeah, that's a suicide bomb.
Not playing.
Yeah, a suicide bomb. Pow. You know, people back up.
You know what? I wanted to ask you a question. We was talking about the different fashions and everything back in the day. What was your favorite? What did you rock? Did you rock the high top fade while you were getting busy? Did you do the jerry curl so it could just, you know what I mean? Did you, like, what were you doing?
Well, before dancing, I wanted to have a jerry curl, but my mom never let me. She said she don't want me to have all that grease. So
right.
But I was doing, you know, in high school, I was putting a lie in my hair, making it straight, and you know, I had a high top fade, and then made it into like other things. I remember, you know, getting creative with it, where you know, I put the, you know, lie straight in my hair, and then I comb it into a brim hat or something, high top fade. Sure. Yeah, I was doing all kind of crazy stuff with it.
How high did it go? Did you go pretty high with your fade, or?
Yeah, yeah. Until where I could put it into a ponytail or something, you know. It was
Lord.
yeah. I was doing all kinds of, and then I'll do it, you know, the
Twist.
twist,
Yeah.
trying to look like the Soul Brother, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I was experimenting, doing all kinds of stuff. You know, bleached. Then I bleached it blonde, you know, and I did all.
So many people did that with their fade, bleaching it. The coach.
Yeah, well, Mr. Oliver had that influence going around where everybody's bleaching their hair blonde and stuff.
Yeah. Oliver. Wow. Yes.
Yep.
With Oliver.
Well, you know, another fun fact. My best friend who I went to high school with, his name was Kanata. He's actually Oliver's cousin. You know, but I don't think they were ever close because I've never seen them, you know, actually together. But he was my best friend. He was my dancing partner. He was my. We were just a 2-man crew. We would call ourselves the Nomads. You know, it was just us two, and yeah, we would go everywhere together, and we kind of looked like each other because he was light skinned with green eyes as well. You know, but we were a dance crew. It was just us two. You know, we would go everywhere boogieing together.
I'm loving the names. You said AM, PM, Nomads. Like, wow.
So AM, you know what AM, PM is, Afro? They were the guys dancing in the documentary Hip Hop Uncovered. Remember they showed Papa LQ, Laquan? Probably like episode 3.
Oh, really?
You know, had the suits in the out in the field.
Right.
Yeah. V Love choreographed that.
I have to go back and check that out. You said V Love choreographed that. V.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about, V. Let me see his shirt. Let me see his sweatshirt. Let me see his sweatshirt.
Now this is the same thing I want to say about.
Go ahead.
This is the thing I want to say about AM/PM. I always admired them. I never hated them, and I had to earn my respect for them. It wasn't until years later, like I would say, God, like in a maybe the mid to late 90s, that Craig finally gave me some love. You know what I mean? Like we were, you know, I don't know, but it was that he didn't like about me, but it wasn't until the mid to late 90s that he finally gave me some love. And, you know, man, because
well, you know, that's AM's nature. He's just like that, period. He's just ever since he danced with us, he's very, very fucking competitive. Me and him have these competitive arguments on the phone where we be like, and then we'd be like, so man, where you going after? But he's just like that. You just gotta know him for that. You know what I mean? Like, he's very much on that level. You know what I mean? You
want to hear something funny? In high school, now you know in Westchester they had this big thing. These Timberlands back then, everybody was wearing. They were like the brown moccasins with the boot sole with the gum boot sole. You remember them?
Right.
Moccasins with what?
They're not. I don't know if that's correct name for it, but they're like the brown, like the reddish leather, low top moccasin. You know, like the shoes
with
that they wear on boats.
With the white sole.
Well, they didn't have white. The Timberland didn't have the ones with white sole.
Oh, you're talking about the Timbs with the gun. I know what you're talking about. Those are dope.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody in Westchester was wearing them. You know, if you were a part of the elite classmates, you know, the elite people that was hanging out on the quad and everything, they were all wearing that. Those are the popular kids. I couldn't afford Timberlands, so I went to a thrift store and bought some bowling shoes. And then I went to the shoe supply store and got some Vibrant soles, the same type of soles as Timberland makes. And I went to a shoe repair place and got the soles put on there. So I had some bowling shoes that looked like Timberlands, but they were bowling shoes. They were red and blue color. They were real nice. But you know, when Craig saw it, he's like, "Man, what them you got on? Man, them a whack."
Oh wow! Oh man, you don't want to. Oh
Who
man,
did the AM did that.
Crush you.
What you got on, man?
Oh
whack, man. But I
That
had
is
something.
horrible.
But I had something different that nobody else had, because everybody else had Timberlands, but I made
Right,
my own shoes. I even made some ones that look like Timberlands out of boxing boots too. They were black boxing boots, and I put the gum soles on there. Yep. But hey, you know, you can't please everybody. But I that's another aspect I like about being creative. Is like you able to just create your own stuff, your own style. And
right,
then that's what also added to your dance vocabulary is just creating your own stuff, and doesn't have to be expensive.
right.
You know.
That's crazy. You know, I went to a house function the other night. It's they have it every year. It's like a not other night, but it was right before it was in February.
Mm-hmm.
And right before last year, right before the COVID. And AM/PM, AM/PM, and then went with me to the house function, and they was up there dancing with me. So they still had it though. They was having fun with me. We had a ball up there.
Man,
Say you was there. Say you was there.
Yeah,
That's all you like.
Yeah, I love AM/PM, man. He used to boogie. You know, it's funny because at the lunch dances, it was AM/PM and Nikki. They were all together. See, that's what was dope. It's like you had all these dancers that were like in different cliques, but they were all merged together. You know, that was a beautiful thing.
I didn't know you went to Westchester. That's fire.
Yeah, I graduated. Yeah, from there.
You always learn something new in these interviews. There's a lot of stuff. Even the art. I would love to see your art. I know you get busy on the art.
Yes. Yeah. Where can we go to see some of your artwork?
I'll start posting it up on Facebook. You know, I'm still in development.
Do that.
Yep.
But like I said, you want to hear something funny? A fun fact though, get back to, like I said, I went. Don Camelot's son Dennis went to Westchester. Never knew I didn't even know who Don Campbell was back then. You know, don't be mad at me. I just didn't know. I didn't learn all my history until later on. You know, I was dancing among all these people and didn't know nothing about them. But I went to high school with him, and we were friends and everything. Not until later on did I know who, as an adult, that I discovered who Don Campbell was, and then I knew what locking was. I would see it, but didn't know who created it. And little I know, I went to his son, and then I became friends with another group of the lockers. Another son, Limbo. You know Limbo, right?
Yeah, he's on here right now, ain't he?
Yeah,
Limbo.
That's my man. We were. And the thing about, with these cats, they had their own style. Like they if they wanted to, if they wanted to, they could have, carried on the legacy of their parents. But man, they went and developed their own style. That's what's beautiful. It's like, from the original generation to the next generation, but the next generation grows another crop of something, another crop of something that's beautiful.
As it should. Yeah, it should. I think if you dance, you should always manifest into something new, whether it's more calmer, more rowdier, more whatever you want to take it, the vibing of it, or the introduction. I think, it's a love for dance that you get and you change over time. And, Legend was telling me one time, he was like, yeah, B, I just had to smooth it out more because I got to an age where I didn't think I wanted to push all that hard anymore, but it's still, what he does is still appetizing to the ear to the eyes when you see that. So it's like, it just change pace as you go down the line, and you keep coming with newer styles, and those styles become more manifestation. You know what I'm saying? Even when I see Alpha dance now, it's a whole different transition from when she was younger, but it's still fly. Like, you guys still got the movements. And I think I seen you not too long ago, Papa Chick.
Well, you know what? I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you something with what I, the way I was able to develop, new moves or new styles and it just came from being in the zone. You're catching that vibe, and I was never like a true, what should I say, practice person. don't have anything against practicing, but it never worked for me. I guess I don't know. It's like I kind of shut down if I try to force myself to practice. For me, and this is just speaking on me, but I feel that my best moments are when I'm able to develop something is when I catch a vibe and I go through a zone and then something new comes out of that,
Right.
But I would say this, in order to best maintain yourself is to condition yourself, condition your body to be able to continue to move and to continue to, you continue to have your full range of motion.
Right.
It's not so much practicing moves and everything that get you across, because what happens when you use all those moves?
Right.
You have to, you have to keep on going. So from a freestyle aspect, it's more of the way I flow is just trying to catching a vibe and riding that flow, that wave.
Yeah.
You are the vibe, brother, and we appreciate your knowledge, your wisdom, and your understanding of this boogie game.
Let's go.
This out, Cuddy Mac.
Word up.
Man, it's a blessing, Brody, having you.
For
So
real.
oh my
God.
Another legend. I like that. Thanks for pulling Papa Chicken in. We got to we have a Pluke next week.
While you can smell them and your trees, while you can inhale them.
Right, that's right. Yay.
Got you a statue in front of Funk Jungle. It's all you, Cuddy Mac.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yes, it's so good having you on. I mean, you've been in the audience, you've been supporting us, and just having you on so you can tell your story and talk about
the part of this.
That, inspired you and how you were an inspiration. This is dope. This is all love. So
you guys are my church after church. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about. Now it's time to eat. Now it's time to eat.
Well, Afro, next week, you have to push up your plan because y'all got 2 shows next week. Because one dude's in Singapore. And 2 o'clock is 5 a.m. there. So y'all got to do another show at 6. So which would be 9 your time.
So we're going to do 2 shows. I got Pluke coming next week.
Yeah, prepare yourself. Y'all got him.
Legend Pluke told me she ready for your questions next week.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You have any questions for me? You have any? I know you guys always ask some of those questions. You have any questions for me, or did I out talking myself?
No, you pretty much I
was gonna save some, but I do have some. I got a new notebook too.
Oh, not the new notebook. Nice.
Before we sign off.
Looking forward to those. All right. Who was the coolest on the mic as a host? Keyword, coolest. Don Cornelius in his prime or Fab Five Freddy in his prime?
Ooh. Man, I gotta give it up to Don. Rest in peace.
Me too, yeah, Don.
Okay.
You can't top that voice. I saw him. The good thing about it, like, he would have his problems later on where he was kind of, he had to do like 20 takes one time. But man, he was always the superior host.
That's right. All right, here we go. For a young dancer out there, what is best for him to shine? The Soul Train line or the circle?
Ooh.
Always the circle. The Soul Train line is only a couple of seconds. That's only a glimpse.
That's it. And the circle is pretty much everywhere, huh?
The circle
it lasts longer. You could do more.
Yeah.
And the music is better.
There you go.
Remember when you're dancing on the Soul Train, especially the Soul Train line, you're performing. You're not catching a vibe. You're just performing. It's a difference. When you're in that circle, you catching a vibe. You're vibing. You're feeding the energy off of other people. Soul Train is line. Watch for the red light and go. And you only got a couple of seconds. And you just gotta Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Who was more colorful? The Scheme Team or the Daisy Age crew? Colorful or colors?
Colorful. I
Not
say
just visual.
I say chameleon. I say chameleon. You know,
that name for nothing.
it ain't. Yep. He's still creative. He's still creative.
Yeah, we gotta bring him in.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Since you're a funk doctor, here's a key one. Key word again. That cool. Who looked the coolest on stage? Sugarfoot or Bootsy Collins?
I knew that was coming up.
Say that one more time. I didn't catch the first part of it.
Who looked the coolest on stage? Sugarfoot or Bootsy Collins?
Bootsy.
Bootsy.
Bootsy still got it.
Bootsy, baby.
Bootsy still got it.
The glasses and the gear.
Was you a Star Search? Was you a Star Search kid or a Gong Show kid?
Star Search.
Wow, you went back with that one, Ledge.
I started. You know what? It was a Gong Show when I was a little kid. You know, when I was a baby, because that's what my mom used to watch. But yeah, then Star Search. You know, Stars. I seen some. I know they had some LA legends on Gong
Yeah,
Show.
Frankie D was on Star Search.
Look, I didn't know about these cats until, you know, seeing this on the Gong Show later on, like Star Search. I used to watch that religiously. Frankie D was on there. Crescendo and Toledo. Crescendo and Toledo were winning every week. Man, they were winning every week. They were killing it.
This is a perfect setup for the last question. Watch this one, B-Love. We giving Papa Chicken his trophy, his last award for the Boogie Game. It's only 2 suits in town, and you got to wear a suit. Do you wear Eddie Murphy's red leather suit from Delirious?
Oh, wow.
Or do you wear one of Crescendo's suits? With the short jacket.
I'll take Eddie Murphy, me, bro.
Crescendo, man, I got. Hey, man, you could dance it. Eddie Murphy, yeah, man, Eddie Murphy, you gonna tear that up? Leather too? That's gonna tear. I need something I can move in.
You said that's gonna tear.
I'm notorious in tearing clothes. That's I'm always used to buy them old cheap.
I gotta go look. I gotta go back and look at Crescendo suits again.
The big shoulder pads.
The little waiter jackets, the little short jacket shots. That was his trade.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Remember Danny Boy?
Which one?
You said Danny Boy?
The one with he used to come out. He was like the pimp of Soul Train. He had the curl.
Yeah. Daddy Boy. But yeah, man, so good having you, Papa Chicken. We finna wind out. Remember, double shows next week.
That's right.
Wow.
Looking forward to it. And I heard IG got a good panel for us, so we might just be hitting up the IG.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing some picks on this week.
So yeah.
Yep.
So I think we need to go forward this week with that.
I'm off to the races. We're gonna end Papa Chicken video.
Yes, Papa Chicken, thank you again. We love you.
Thank you, Papa Chicken.
Thank you for having me on here.
Yes,
of course, man. Big love.
Have a wonderful evening too, y'all. Much love.
Yeah.
So let's check out that video.
Yeah, I love you guys, man.
Show 'em.
Thank you so much.
Word up. You already know Papa Chicken come through and Hey, that was hot. That was hot. That was hot. I wanted to bust with you. That was dope. That was dope.
That's just one of the many.
You know what?
You
know what? That, and I kind of messed up on that. I only think I was supposed to use my hand on that flip or whatever. But oh well, you know. I see myself better.
That was directed in cinematic view by Jason. He wants his props.
J.U.
That's dope.
Yeah, we're bringing J.U. on here soon.
I've been in this practice spot
freestyle specialist.
many a night. I've been in this practice spot many a nights, and man, I'm telling you, you know, they go off in there. I mean, like I said, I'm not a practice guy, and I think in there it's not so much about practice, like rehearsing where people are working on moves. Everybody's in there catching a vibe, and that's what I think that's what was different about his practice, you know, places. You know, they would just get in a zone and you just catch a vibe and go off, and you know, everybody would just, you know, if a person was getting busy, they weren't like telling you, criticizing you or what you can do better. You just feed. It was all about movement, and you feed and stuff. That's what was so great about his practice spot. You know, as opposed to others, like you go some of these other ones. I've been to a couple of other ones, and I mean, they're all good. You know, it depends. You know, it just depends on the situation, because you go to some and you got people that's, you know, kind of like, you know, criticizing on you, what you need to do better, or this, or people watching you to see if they can, you know, pick up something from you and stuff. But you know, it's all love. I'm all about sharing. You know, that's the thing about it. I'm all about, you know, sharing and expressing and everything. And I think that's what God's gift was to me, as far as that's what God's gift was to me to utilize my dance for, was to share.
Right.
Afro, you hungry, Afro? Afro hungry. She ready
I told you it was time to eat.
So he can smell like sage.
Word up. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Actually, I need some, actually.
Man.
Yeah, they got to get them on up there. And I need to go pick up some more black seed oil.
Ooh.
Black seed oil. Well, you
black
get
seed oil.
Nah, that's real, y'all.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Papa Chicken.
Yeah.